I think what I will say is that if Thor won this show and pulled 5'10", I cannot think of a better day that someone has had in Strongman.
So guys, welcome back to the channel, and my god, do we have a lot to talk about. Serious weekend of strength. Just insane in terms of things done and also things not done, which we are going to get to in a minute. So, starting off with Thor Julius Bjornsson breaking the world deadlift record again with 510 kilos and making it look like a fucking warm-up. Who does that? Like, who the fuck does that? I'm just going to show you here just a quick clip from doing the 510. Absolutely phenomenal by him. Absolutely phenomenal. He arguably could have done 525 on the night. I think he was capable. He genuinely made 510 look like a warm-up, so fair play to him for that. And I don't think anyone is even close to beating him at the minute. It's just insane in terms of what he's actually capable of. Then moving on to Evan Singleton's situation. That was super unfortunate for Evan. Now, the real question that a lot of people have been asking is, was Evan like actually robbed of the rep? And in my opinion, I don't think he was, and I will explain why. So, first of all, for those of you who don't know, what actually happened was Evan Singleton went out, did his 400 kilo deadlift as his first attempt. It actually went up so fast that he stumbled with it, but he got it. He got the lockout 100%. Nobody disagrees with that. Then he went off to do the 420. Now, his first attempt from the front, it looked pretty much like he had it locked out. Magnus Ver Magnusson was not sure and had his hand up like this, right? About to give him the down command. Wasn't sure, wanted him to keep on going to lock it out. So he kind of went like this and then went like that. So now when Evan saw this, he thought it was a down command and went straight down. So then Magnus was saying to him, no, you need to go again. It wasn't locked out. So Evan tried again, couldn't quite get it up a second time, tried a third time, hurt his hamstring a little bit on the second time, made it a little bit worse on the third time, and then he stormed off. Was very frustrated with the situation, understandably so. But what I did do afterwards was, I wasn't actually sure, did he lock out the rep the first time? It looked like he did from the front, but then I saw a side view in Big Loz's video, and from the side, I'm going to put it here and I'm going to put it in slow-mo. I don't think he had it fully locked out. I think it was pretty damn close. I'd say if he had raised it 2 or 3 inches up his thighs, I'd say I would have given him the lockout. I don't think his hips were true enough that I would have called it. But to look back at it from Magnus's point of view, I think Evan was capable of locking it out, but I think what the problem was that Magnus should have kept his hand up and said hips true, or just lock it out or something like that, and then Evan would have continued to pull it. You know the way he is, he would have killed himself trying to do it. So I think he was capable of getting it, but I don't think he actually got it. So I think Magnus was correct in getting him to continue lifting it, but where he fucked up was doing this with his hands before going to do that, and that obviously caused a lot of confusion. In the end, the rep was actually given to Evan, but at that point it didn't matter because he had already hurt his hamstring, and his coach Nico had told him there's no point, killing yourself for this now, because if you pull your hamstring a couple of weeks out before Rogue, that's Rogue gone bye-bye. So, yeah, bit unfortunate, but that's my honest take on it. There's a lot of people said, well, yeah, he got the rep, he should have been given it, the first time, should have gone on to do the show. In my opinion, I think he should have been asked to continue to lock it out, which he probably would have done, and then possibly gone on to win the show. But nonetheless, that was the situation with Evan Singleton. Very unfortunate. Is what it is. So, moving on to the rest of the deadlifts and some crazy shit that went down. First of all, Gav Bilton going out there hitting 440, a new Welsh record. Fair play to him for that. Absolutely astounding performance by him. you could tell it meant the absolute world to him. And yes, sometimes there are things that are just enough to make a grown man cry. So yeah, very, very proud of him for that. Really cool to see that. Shortly after that, you have Paddy Haynes hitting 1,000 pounds on deadlift, which was like out of fucking nowhere. I saw him do, I don't know, was it a 430 or 420 in training? Made it look relatively comfortable. And I thought, yeah, he's good for 440. Like, that's probably what he's going to get. And he came out and he hit the 1,000 pounds, and I did not see that coming at all. I thought maybe he'll give it a crack and he'll fail at the knees, but he fucking locked it out. So fair play to him for that. So obviously meant a lot to him. And it proves now that Paddy is now, like, he's not just a deadlift for reps guy. Like, he is in the 1,000 pound club. He is one of the guys to look out for on a max deadlift. You cannot sleep on him in that event. So very proud of him for that. And it just shows that him putting on the size is really starting to suit him. So yeah, well done to Paddy. And then other than that, we had Austin Andrade hitting the 470, getting his revenge at long last. This time he fell forward with the implement, but he locked it out long enough to get the down command this time. So fair play to him for that. Absolutely class performance by him. And Adam Bishop making a return and hitting a 470 deadlift. So very proud of him for that. Like, being honest with Adam at the minute, like, he's 36 now. He's been doing strongman for a very long time. So for him to come out and hit a PB deadlift at that age, and just with the sheer weight that it was in front of that crowd, amazing for him as well. So well done to him for that. And lastly, we had Raul Flores going out there, the wildcard invite, hitting 1,000 pounds on deadlift, attempting the 480, not quite getting it. I think that's what a lot of us would have expected anyway. He just after hitting 480 a couple of weeks ago as a new PB, so that was asking a lot, but fair play to him for that. And I think he will be coming back next year and looking for some big numbers, so be looking out for that. And yeah, also as well, Rono Hainla coming out there attempting the 480 deadlift. Bit of context for Rono, about 2 weeks out, he got, I think it was a stomach virus or something like that. He was very ill anyway for a while. He was in hospital for a bit. He actually dropped about 10 kilos about 2 weeks out from the comp and tried to work it back up. Was just, fighting the illness, whatever. He hit a very comfortable 440 and then went on to attempt the 480. Got it to about the knees, couldn't quite hitch it. But still, from Rono, given all of that, was a very impressive attempt. And I think he's going to come back next year and smash that 480. So, moving on to event number 2. We had the Farmers Walk. Now, this I found quite surprising as well. Actually, I forgot about that. Just quickly to mention too, Pavlo Nakonechny, unfortunately didn't make it out to the deadlift because in the warm-ups he pulled a muscle between his lat and tricep, I think. Very unfortunate for him. He's just had a bad history with injuries, but luckily it's only something small, so hopefully we'll see him back early next year in another Giants live show. But yes, back to Farmers Walk. 150 to 160 kilos per hand. Big Eddie Williams taking the win there. No surprises there with Evan not being in the comp. Eddie is just an absolute speed demon at the minute. Luke Stallman taking second. No real surprises there. Fair play to Luke. Matthew Ragg taking third, showing what he's all about in this competition. He's not had the greatest past year and a bit, so for him to come out and take a third place in this event is really solid points. Then I think Thor came fifth, which given the body weight that he's sitting at right now, which I think is 205 kilos, that was a very impressive performance by him. Very impressive. Then Paddy Haynes, this is where I was really surprised with Paddy. He actually dropped to 8th place in the Farmers. Now, I had heard that Farmers actually weren't meant to be as good for him as you would imagine, but yeah, dropping to 8th place there was major loss in points. Now, he did just do a 1,000 pound deadlift, so that would probably have a part to play, no doubt. But yeah, it's definitely something that he needs to work on in the future if he wants to be winning those big titles. So moving on to event number 3, we had the sandbag steeplechase. Paddy coming back for a bit of revenge, taking the win there, no surprises there. Matthew Ragg taking second. This is where Matt was really starting to shine in the competition. Then Luke Stoneman coming third. And Half-Thor taking fourth. Now, Half-Thor fucking shocked me here. Not as much in the farmers. I thought he'd be, not horrendous, but I thought maybe mid-table. But fourth in the sandbag steeplechase was huge for him. And I genuinely think the reason he was so good was because of two things. Number one, he's so tall that when he picks up the bags, he can just very comfortably throw them over the barriers. But number two, he's so fucking strong that him picking up the 150 kilo bag was like everyone else trying to do 100 kilos in the warm-ups or something. He just picked them up like they were nothing. So his conditioning was not great for this. But again, because he's so tall and because he's so strong, he still managed to score like decent points. So fair play to Half-Thor for that. Very, very good in this event. Way better than I thought he'd do. I genuinely thought he was going to be like 8th or 9th place. Matt Ragg was actually leading by 1.5 points in the overall standings at this point. So Matt is really starting to come to shine again, which is really exciting to see. Like, let's not forget, he beat Mitchell Hooper in a competition before. I think it was World Tour Finals, I'm going to say 2023, I think. We'd have to double check that. But on to event number 4, we had the hammer hold, 30 kilos. So we had Half-Thor going out there and winning, which again surprised me because, now, not that I think Half-Thor would be lacking in the pain tolerance department. It's just that his arms are so long that I thought, taking a win in an event like this would be mathematically impossible. But again, he's so big and so strong and so conditioned that this just wasn't a problem for him. He absolutely wrecked everyone in this. He got 50.78 seconds. Big Bryce Johnson coming in there at second with 43.7 seconds. So literally a 7-point lead over Bryce, which is insane. Tristan Hoth taking third there with 39.56. Matthew Ragg taking fourth here with 39.12. And then I think Luke Stoneman was in 6th at this place, so he dropped a few points here. But Luke, potentially I would have assumed he might have done a bit better. Maybe taken 4th or something, but either way, it wasn't a bad performance by him. The times were just super tight. I think from like 3rd place down to 7th, that was like 2 or 3 seconds apart. That like everyone was just millisecond after millisecond after millisecond after each other. Paddy Haynes then taking 9th place in this event, which doesn't sound that impressive, but I think he got around 35 seconds. So he didn't actually come dead last, which for Paddy in itself is a win in an event like this. He really overperformed. Like, he really did better than he thought he would. In terms of actual performance as opposed to placing, he actually did really well. So fair play to Paddy on that one. Then moving into the Viking press. Good old Viking press. 150 kilos. We had, just actually before I go into this, what's his name? Colin Bryce was not at the show for the whole thing. And I think that was the deal that they had made for Thor to actually come back and compete. Because obviously you wouldn't want Colin like commentating, especially when he's doing like fucking Viking press and stuff like that. So Colin wasn't there. And to be completely honest, I think it was probably the best decision for everyone in that situation, because had Half-Thor gone out and was trying to do the deadlift and didn't do as well as he thought he would, the blame might have been put on Colin, or something like that. The two of them just don't like each other, right? They have their history. You can argue, you can make arguments for who's right and who's wrong. I mean, I think I have a fair idea of who's right in the situation. But regardless, they don't like each other. And even if you're in the wrong, if you want to perform your best on the day, the last thing you want is someone who you have really bad blood with on the mic the whole time. It would wreck your head. It's, there's one thing saying, like, should he have that power? Like, should an athlete have that much power in that situation? But at the same time, I think the best decision was made. So Colin, unfortunately, was not actually commentating for that. But look, is what is. Anyway, Viking press, 150 kilos, did not include Colin Bryce judging this time. So we had Bryce Johnson going out there, wrecking everyone inside there with 15 reps. Eddie Williams in second place with 13 reps. Big Gav Bilton taking a nice third place there. To be fair, I thought he'd do well in this event, so taking third was pretty cool. 12 reps there. Then we had a 4-way tie for fourth with some rather unsuspecting people. Luke Stoltman and Austin tying for 10 reps. Not really a surprise there. They're both very good pressers. Thor tying there as well, which, I suppose I wouldn't say completely unexpected. Like his pressing power is starting to come back, which is really exciting to see. Paddy Haynes tying for fourth on 10 reps of a Viking press is absolutely insane. His pressing strength is really starting to come through. I noticed he's starting to do the old powered wire trick on the Viking press, where he kind of he leans back, turns it into a bench press, and then stands up with it. Still though, 10 reps on 150 kilos. Fair play to Paddy for that. And just back to the point I made previously about the 1,000 pounds. Statically now, Paddy is starting to become one of those guys where he's not bottom of the pack anymore. He's not. He's mid-pack. He's a little bit higher than mid-pack. He's kind of, he might be fourth or fifth. So even on his not so good events, he's mid-table, And then you throw in a moving event, a steeplechase or anything to do loading medley related anyway. He just wins. It's just simple as that. So, fair play to Paddy on that as well. Massive performance by him there. And yes, of course, I was keeping an eye on Thor in this event to see, will he do what he did those many, many moons ago? And no, he did not. He did not partake in any dipping by a multiplication of 2. He was cramping like hell, I will say that now. After all the previous events, no surprise there. I mean, he literally just pulled 510. I don't care who you are or how easy you make it look. Pulling 510 is bound to rattle you, especially when you have 5 events to do afterwards. But amazing performance from all the guys there as well. Then moving on to the power stairs. So there was 4 implements. We had a 200 kilo, 225, 240 and 250 kilo power stair. So with the people doing pretty well in this event, we had Paddy Haynes taking the win here. Fair play to him. He nearly broke his ankle trying to do it. I believe he jumped off of the actual power stairs onto the bottom to get the second implement at the start. So risky operation, but paid off in the end. Thor taking second. No surprises there. Adam Bishop taking third. Fair play to him for that. And Luke Stoltman taking fourth. With 32.83 seconds. Paddy was on 30.78. So just to give context here, the two of them actually went out together. Luke Stoltman on the third or fourth implement actually slipped on the way up and still carried on and was still only 2 seconds behind Paddy after all of it. So had he not slipped, I don't think he would have won, but he could have been third, he could have been second, solid performance by Luke overall. Then into the overall standings, and to prove that I officially do not know how to predict any show anymore, we had Thor coming out taking the win with an 8-point lead, mind you, over second place, 58.5 points. Bryce Johnson coming in second with 50.5 points, and Matthew Ragg with 49.5. So really surprising podium there. Bryce Johnson coming second, right? I'm impressed. I'm a little bit surprised, but I'm not super surprised because he did come fifth at small recently. Matt Ragg, now he really, and I mean really fucking surprised me to make a podium there. Because as I say, he's not had the greatest past year and a half or so. So he's really proven again that he's that guy. So very excited to see him doing well there. Paddy Haynes, just a half point off the podium. I know that feeling, Paddy. I've been in that situation before. But you know what? If I found from experience, it makes you work harder. That being said, with Paddy coming fourth, if he placed sixth as opposed to eighth in the Farmers Walk, he would be second. Just think about that. Just think about that for a minute now. So, just due to fine margins and due to a poorer event, cost Paddy 2 places there. So, Paddy is a major contender for these shows, 100%. Really excited to see how he got on there. Then we had big Eddie Williams on 48 points in 5th place. Really excited seeing Eddie there, you know, taking the event win on the Farmers Walk. He's really starting to come into his own now. So looking forward to him the next few shows. Luke Stallman in 6th. Some people would look at Luke in 6th and be like, oh yeah, well, that's kind of shit, like he came 6th. It's really not. Like, he literally came top 3 in, Jesus, I don't know how many events. A margin of error towards the end cost him a placing, you know, on the power stairs. And like, I'm trying to think, his worst event, I think, was Hammerhold. Sorry, well, technically his worst event was deadlift. But like, max deadlift, he would have been last there, like second last with 400 kilos. But yeah, I think other than that, that's the only place he dropped points. Outside of that was Hammerhold. Everywhere else he was really good. I mean, really good. Like power stairs, class. Viking press, class. Farmers walk, class. Steeplechase, class. Do you know what I mean? So, no, overall he had a really good performance. So fair play to him. Like that is one thing when you get into strongman a bit, you start to realize that like placings really aren't everything. Like where you're, you know, how you're getting on overall in a show, like how you actually perform for you and your PBs is way more important than where you actually place. Because your PBs and your performance is the only thing you actually have control over. So bear that in mind, people. Any of you who are actually competing in strongman competitions, don't be too hard on yourself. Hit PBs. I'll actually give an example. I know I'm going on a tangent now, lads. I apologize. But I did a competition there. It was early 2024. It was the natural UK ends. So it was the under 90 kilo class of 15 guys, I think. And I came 13th overall, which we're going to say, oh yeah, well, that's fucking shite. Bear in mind, I went in there, right? We had 6 events. I hit PBs in 5 of them. In 5 events. So do you know what? I went away very happy from that. Really happy, because hitting 5 PBs, like, when do you ever do that? You know, so like, it doesn't matter if like 12 other people beat me. If I hit 5 PBs, there was nothing else I could have done. The only situation where I'd be annoyed after a competition is if I thought I didn't try hard enough, or if I made a silly mistake that cost me something. That's where I'd be pissed off. But I mean, if I'm hitting PBs all around, and if I come last, I don't care. I did as good as I could. How could I possibly be annoyed with myself? So just a little life lesson for you guys. But anyway, back to Jesus, where were we? We were on about Luke. Yeah, so Luke did really good overall. Then we had Gav Bilton then, 38.5 points. Really good by Gav as well. I really enjoyed watching Gavin. He had a very good performance on the Viking press, and obviously hitting the PB. Like, I loved seeing how much the sport like means to him as well. You know, like not just hitting that deadlift and, you know, getting all emotional over it, but like even at the end as well, like he has this confidence about him. And another interesting fact too is Tom and Luke Stallman's old coach, Dan Hipkiss, is now coaching him. So I'd be very excited to see what the future holds for him. And I hope Dan, you know, just keeps him in shape, make sure that he's focusing on his conditioning, that any weakness he has is like the thing that he's drilling, you know, in his training. So yeah, really excited to see what Gav can do in the next like couple of months. So after that, then we had Tristan Hoth, Austin Andrade, and Adam Bishop. Adam Bishop wasn't 10th, but I must say as well, he did actually skip an event. He chose not to do the steeplechase. I don't actually know why. I don't think it's because, I don't like the event. I think it's because he was possibly worried that he could hurt himself or something. I don't know. I didn't hear about him being injured or anything like that. I know he didn't have a great experience with his at Britain's Strongest Man at the start of the year. But yeah, I'm sure he had his reasons, but like he still had a class performance. Like he did class in the deadlift, class in the power stairs. You know, he got on all right, to be fair to him. But yeah, so that is my overall take for the World Deadlift Championships and the Strongman Open 2025. Moving on from that, next we have the World Tour Finals, the log lift record. And shortly after that, we got the big old Rogue, and we got a couple of people invited to that. And we know some people are coming back. Mitchell Hooper is meant to be returning. Really excited to see that. I think Mitch could win that. He genuinely could win that. Rain O'Neill could win it. Tom Stallman could win it. Evan Singleton could win it. Lucas Hatton, maybe. I don't know the events, but knowing Rogue and their events, I think Lucas is going to struggle to win this one, just because the moving events, they're just not suiting him right now, especially not Frame, which is weird because Frame actually suited him really well to start the year. I think it's to do with his hands. He's gaining so much weight, you see, that his hands are getting really thick, so I think that's actually affecting his frame. But anyway, I've been rambling on for long enough now, guys. If you like the video, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, share it around the place. And yeah, guys, we will see you later.
Can we just get a visual on that chair, please, Lucy? Yeah, there it is. That's knackered. Yeah. So, proof beyond any reasonable doubt that Lawrence Shockley bounces, ladies and gentlemen, went down big time there. That is a chair that has been, well, it's seen better days, let's just say that.
I can't talk right now. My whole body is cramping up. I need to go backstage to relax, hydrate, because I am fucked.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at him on the big screen. He hails from Adelaide, Southeast Australia. He is looking sharp. Eddie!
Right, Trish, hang on, what's he saying?
We're almost fucking done.